What's going on, everybody? Nifty Goose here, and I am playing some Magic the Gathering Duels Origins. What is Magic the Gathering Duels Origin? Well, what is Magic the Gathering? It's a collectible trading card game, one of the first ones of its kind, and definitely one of the most popular ones that came out in the mid-90s, and it's I would say that it's still going strong up until this day. And there has been a handful of Magic games that you can play. I mean, it's been around on PC for quite some time, but I believe it started on Xbox in 2012, and we've seen some good versions and we've seen some not so good versions, and well, I'll wait till the end to tell you how I feel about this one. This one is taking a different approach as to what type of a game it is, as far as, you know, because the other ones you would just pay, I believe it cost $20. It was like $19.99, and that's how much the game cost. Then you played it and all that. But this one, they've taken a different approach, and I will get into that later. But right now, this is a game. And so we will go into the game. Now, as far as the actual gameplay of it, how does it feel? Well, it feels pretty similar. Excuse me. It feels pretty similar to previous versions. As far as just, you know, kind of the gameplay mechanics. The one thing I guess took out that, you know, I'm not too much of a fan of in the previous ones, if you hit left trigger, it would zoom in on the last card that was played, and so you can't do that anymore. You can still LT to zoom, but you have to have it highlighted before it will actually zoom up so you can read it. Whereas previously, you play it, the last card that was played, you could zoom in on it and it wouldn't stop the time or anything like that. So that's kind of a bummer they took out. It was just you know, just a nice little little feature. Everything else feels basically the same, as far as, you know, playing, drawing, all that stuff. One thing I will suggest, that if you're playing, go into the settings and turn off display damage, or damage animation, or something like that. Turn that off, because it just slows the game down and it's unnecessary. All it is you see a card, the two cards pop up, and then it goes whoosh, and that's what it is. That's literally all it is. So it doesn't take out the little lightning bolts and fireballs that the cards throw at other cards. It just takes out, like, the card somehow attacking the other card. So definitely turn that off. That just doesn't see, it's display damage effects. That's what it's called. It just slows the game down a little bit, and it can be kind of annoying, especially when you're attacking with a handful. That's not cool. So let's talk about this deck that I'm currently playing with. It is a black and red deck, and I've set it up to be kind of a sacrificing creature deck. I have a couple cards in there that, like the one I have played right now. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, I put a +1/+1 counter on it. And I have cards like the one that I have highlighted right there, that I tap one, colorless, sacrifice it, deals 2 damage to target player. So pretty cool. And I also have a card in there that whenever I sacrifice a creature, that card gets +1/+1 counter. So I've got some direct damage from red, and some, I mean, most of them are pretty cheap creatures, so I don't really have it. I think the most expensive one I have in there is one that cost 5, but I don't know if I want to keep it in there. I don't know. It comes out later. As you can see, this enchantment comes out, and I quickly just sacrifice it to get rid of it, give it a +1/+1 counter, and so the card I have out there right now, it's gonna be my big damage dealer. But I think the person I'm playing against right now, I don't think he's too much of an experienced player. Like, he made some moves that aren't really experienced player moves. Like, there's one instance where he plays a fog before I attack. Like, it's obvious I'm going to attack, but there's no reason to play that before I do it, because he could tap my creature. I don't know. It's just one of those things that kind of doesn't matter, but, you know, it kind of does in the way. So that's the deck I'm kind of playing with, and it appears that he's playing with an elf deck. You can't really see that now, but you'll see it in a second. And the elf deck you can build in this, I think, is pretty weak. They had one in, I think it was 2013, if I remember right, and that one was pretty strong. That was a really good one. And so, man, like, it's still Magic, and still I still love it, but there's just they just miss some stuff that, I don't know, I feel like they took out or whatever. But I'm trying not to get into that right now, because I will get into it later. So as far as the actual gameplay is concerned, it's basically the same. You know, it's what you would expect from a Magic the Gathering game on a console. See, that's the card that shows that he's playing an elf deck. With that one, it's a 3/3. Whenever he casts an elf spell, he puts a 1/1 elf creature on the battlefield. So it's a great elf card. You know, don't get me wrong, it's great. Like, there's good elf cards, but you see, the reason why I'm talking about elf deck is because I do have one in real life, and obviously mine's way better than the one they have on here. As far as the card selection about actually building a deck, yeah, I think it's kind of weak. It doesn't seem like there's too many, like, it doesn't seem like you can really think outside the box on it, which building a deck, that's kind of what you should do when you go into building a deck, is you want to, I don't know, you want to have the world at your fingertips, and you want to be able to try and do a bunch of different things. And that's one thing that this kind of lacks, because the whole card selection, there's not really much going on there, in my opinion. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, gameplay's fun. You know, it's Magic. But here, I kind of, as you can see, I'm dominating pretty good, and so I feel like I've got the game in my grasp. Like, he's gonna have to do something pretty wicked. And this card, I think I'm about to play. Like, I'm kind of thinking what I want to do here, but that card's pretty good. It's an enchantment that whenever a non-creature token enters the battlefield under my control, I can pay one mountain and put a copy of that creature with haste. And I can't remember if I have to sacrifice it at the end of my turn. That I'm not sure of. I think I do. I better. If not, that card is way overpowered. Which is one thing I've noticed with a lot of the newer editions of Magic, is that there's a lot of what I would consider overpowered cards. I mean, when you look back at Sheevan Dragon, which that card, if it was put out now, would not be considered overpowered at all. But at the time, I mean, that was a pretty bitchin' card to have and to hold. But as you can see, my one creature out there, he's doing some good stuff. And like, I don't know why he has white in that deck. Like, elf deck, you kind of want to stick with green and have solely green, maybe a little bit of black in there, but you kind of want to stick with nothing but green. So I don't know if he's trying to make, because the thing about like elf decks is they're a lot of weak elves, but their strength is in numbers. That's the big thing about elves. The same thing with rat decks. The strength is in the numbers. Like, if you have 21 ones, that's still 20 damage going across. That's kind of the idea of it. And you still have like a handful. Like, this is one of the things that makes me think he's not too much of an experienced player. Like, he just gave that card he just brought out +1/+1 for each force he controls, which makes it a 5/5, but it can't attack, and that's only till end of turn. So if he's going to play that, you might as well play it on his 1/1 and attack. And see, he left, which that's another thing. Don't leave. You know, play the game out. The only time I leave is if somebody doesn't kill me when it's obvious they should. That's the thing I don't like. When they're trying to build up for a big attack when they could have just killed me, I'll back out on that. I'm not putting up with that. But, you know, stay in there. You know, don't back out. Don't be a loser. Stay in. I mean, odds are he's not. I mean, he knows, and I know that there's not really too many cards that he could play that could really turn this around. So, like, he would have to he'd have to play a card to get rid of my big guy, and I don't really think he has that. There's not. I mean, white doesn't really have that. I mean, they do have some cards, but you know, that's not really their forte. So right now he's just kind of, well, this is the computer right now, and the computer is coming in and doing what you're supposed to do, and delay, delay, delay. When you get into a situation like this, you want to delay. You don't want to. You got to. That's all you can do at this point, is just kind of delay and hope you get the cards that you need to turn the game around. Because, you know, 4 to 20, like, obviously that's not where you want to be, but it's not the end of the world. You know, there's still stuff that you can do. And so, I don't know. It just kind of giving up. That kind of also shows, you know, not really too experienced player, because, you know, with an experienced player, the idea is that you're okay with losing. Well, you're not okay with losing. It's just that's part of the game. That's how, like, losing, when you lose in Magic, you learn something. You try and pull something from it. Why did your deck not work? Why were you not getting enough land? Why were you not getting the cards that you need when you would like them? And some of it comes down to luck, but if you build your deck correctly, you're not relying so much on luck, because you know, a good percent of the time you're going to get the starting hand that you want. Like in this starting hand, I got a good starting hand. Sometimes I don't. And a lot of that boils down to kind of the selection of cards, and I will get to that. This is the one that I had. The card that I just drew is the one that I have that cost 5. But see, this is why this enchantment is really good. Look at that. Boom. Copy it. It has haste. That is pretty ridiculous. So instead of just attacking with 1 damage, I'm attacking with 5. And this thing, if I tap 5, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So not really that great, but you know, it's not bad. And you know, since it has haste, that's also good too. So as you can see, the computer is just, you know, just delaying, just stalling, which is what you're supposed to do. But you know, the game is, like, I'm almost certain the game is in my hands at this point. And they have I guess a ranking system where you level up based on wins. And so since I haven't really played much of the multiplayer, just because it's tough to get into games, because I guess not a lot of people play it, which, you know, I guess is understandable, and maybe I'm just having bad luck. But I like it. A lot of times it takes a while to actually get into a game. Like right before I started recording, I was trying to find a game, and I was waiting for about 5 minutes, which may not seem like that long, but when you're just sitting and waiting, I mean, that's not too fun. So Nifty Goose wins. All right, good job, Nifty Goose. You did it. Like, I'm ranked 2. Yeah, how about that? Suck it. So, and I'll get into what those last ones show. So that was kind of showed you a gameplay of it. Now we're going to check out some of the different parts. And first we're going to go into story mode. And story mode has always been kind of a cool thing, because this is how you get cards in the beginning. This is how you kind of build up a card collection. But this, I think, is really lacking. I like the fact that you start out and you play as those 5 different planeswalkers. And they're some of my favorites. Well, they're all of my favorites except for Gideon. I don't really care about him. I think Garrick should have been in there, but that's just my opinion. I like all the other ones, but you kind of play a story of them, and you start out as, you know, a young person. And then the only thing I don't like is it didn't have like a final boss. But now we're in the multiplayer, and they brought back Two-Headed Giant, which is awesome. That was absent in the 2015 version, and it was brought in, I believe, in the 2014. But that's always a fun mode. I haven't got to try it out yet because it's just so tough to find. Now we're going to go into deck building, the deck building thing, and it's pretty basic. I mean, you can't really screw this up too much. The top part is your card pool, and the bottom is the current deck you're working on. And then there's filters that you can put on where you can change. You know, you just want to look at sorceries or instants or colors, rarity, new cards. You know, you can filter all that. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. There's nothing too special about this part. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, and you got your deck grades, which really don't really mean that much. And now we have the card collection, and it's pretty weak. It doesn't feel like there's that many to choose from. As you can see, it shows the ones that I have locked, and you know, it's got filters, the same thing. But like, as you can see, it was already done with the white. So now we're on to quests, and this is how you get Magic coins is you know, do these different missions like sacrifice 20 permanents, win duel with those type of decks, and as you can see off to the right is how many coins you get for completing that task. Now, what do you need coins for? You need coins for cards. As you can see, I got 50 coins, and you need to buy booster packs. You need those coins. Here's where we get into that I don't like. This turn, like, I would much rather pay just the $20 or whatever it is to buy the whole game. And you can bring out expansions later, and I'll buy those. But so that's just something I really don't like. I mean, I would much rather just pay the 20 and give me the whole game instead of, like, I will not spend a dime on those coins because, for one, it's tough to get into a game, so why would I do that? And two, the card selection is weak and small, so why would I do that? Like, it's not giving me any incentive to actually spend the extra money. Like, just, I don't know. There had to have been a reason why they did that. I don't know. Maybe there was a great reason they did that, but to me, it's like, I don't know. That was kind of a not so fun thing that I don't like about it. Everything else, you know, it's fun. I don't know. I just kind of, my favorite game so far has been 2014. But what are you going to do? Anyways, this has been Nifty Goose. And like always, I will see you on the other side.